coming to town, please carry something to keep you warm. Yes, and if you have infants that are not of school going, make sure they're in responsible hands and they are kept warm. Anytime, you never know, it could shower, because when I look outside studios, I see something kind of weather communicating something, but I'm sure with Molen Kenyana, you can never go wrong with our weather forecast. Welcome to this segment of Good Morning Uganda, which is Good Morning Uganda Agenda. I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyitono, and with me in studios, I have very important people in the field of innovation, science, and things that contribute to national development. I have people from Makerere University with whom we are going to be discussing something very, very important, more so at a time where the world is moving into innovation and finding solutions to problems. Now, this is the Makerere University Research and Innovation Fund. Many times we've had people talk about, we have so much we can do in this country, we have so many ideas, we have this, we have that, but well, there's a fund for innovation. I'm not the right person to tell you more about that. That's why I have guests in studios, and I'll let them do that after introduction. Now, on my extreme end, I have Professor Wamala Robert, who happens to be the Deputy Director, Directorate of Research and Graduate Training, Makerere University. You're most welcome, Prof.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here.
Mm-hmm. And then just next to me, I have Edmond Tumusime, who is a lecturer, Department of Makerere Mechanical Engineering. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Good morning, Uganda.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited having you two gentlemen, mostly when it comes to the field of innovation, because today in Uganda, everywhere you look, there's some bit of innovation. There's someone trying, when you go to Katwe, when you go, there's something Ugandans, someone is coming up with something, someone is innovating. But there is a fund, and let me begin with Professor Wamala Robert. When we talk about the Makerere University Research and Innovation Fund, what is it all about?
Thank you very much. The Makerere University Research and Innovation Fund is an initiative of an engagement between the top university officials and the Republic of Uganda to fund high impact factor research that touches real issues happening in our community. The Makerere University Research and Innovation Fund, as you may already have heard, it's a fund, it's an initiative funded by the government of Uganda. It was initiated in 2019, where we got the first dispatchment of up to 30 billion Uganda shillings. Now that's approximately about $8 million dollars. Now we've received this fund for the last 4 financial years, and that's equivalent to like about 100 billion Uganda shillings, which is really quite some money. Now the university, after realizing the need to carry out research, and of course the government of Uganda coming in to support research, the university came up with a committee of individuals from various disciplines to manage this particular fund. And that is called the Makerere University Grants Management Committee. Now this committee is made up of several members from several disciplines who are coming in a way to monitor how research is going on, monitor activities, and monitor what is going on in the realm of research. I hope to provide further information about the research, but I think what I can say for now, we are fully and absolutely indebted to the government of Uganda for realizing the need for research in our country, and to that effect, going ahead and funding research, not just at Makerere University, but even in other public universities. That even in the heat of COVID, the government of Uganda still honored its pledge to fund research in this country and at Makerere University. Thank you very much.
Now, Prof, when we talk about research, fund research, what kind of research are you funding? Because there are a lot of research that can be done. Personally, I'm a dog breeder and I'm very passionate about my animals. I could want to carry out research of artificial insemination for the dogs, which I'm currently undergoing and doing perfectly because the dogs are conceiving and delivering. So research is broad. So do you have yardsticks are there? Because I would rush to you just after here and I'm like, man, I want to prove this is research, it's proven. Yes.
Very good question, of course it would give more light. Yes, we've come up with several themes which cut across health, agriculture, education, as long as something is of public demand. In other words, sometimes you can do research that solves your own problem. However, what we are here to do at Makerere University is reaching out to do research that affects particular issues which are affecting our community. So it cuts across health, education, agriculture, name it, so many fields. Yeah.
Now, rightly you've talked about that has some bit of transformation, not just personal benefit. But let's also now look at, because you're leaving it so broad for, you know, I need you to just, because we are talking about when Ugandans see anywhere where there is attachment to money being available, you know, they all now, I don't want you to have people turn up in huge numbers with all sorts of, so I want you to be more specific and more satisfactory in explaining that.
Of course not if just everyone can show up because there is money. Number one, of course, you must be a staff of the university.
Okay, that's good. That's what I wanted.
Why am I saying so? This money coming in from the government of Uganda, there are accountability issues. And with the accountability issues, you cannot just give the money to anybody. Now, we believe that we have a contract with all our staff, and that's the employment contract, which is the basis for one to access these funds. But number two, it does not limit that the researchers should be entirely from Makerere University. The staff of Makerere University are at liberty to partner with anybody in any university in the private sector to work with them in doing research. You will also agree with me that the problems of Uganda cannot be solved by just the academia alone. We have to partner with industry. We have to partner with the private sector. And so, as long as the partnerships are valid and there is a principal investigator who is a Makerere University staff, of course, for issues of accountability, we shall go ahead and fund. Now, it is not just that whoever applies receives funding. We have a pool of over 500 multidisciplinary reviewers. We've actually come up with a database of reviewers. Every project will be vetted. 3 reviewers. We have internal reviewers, and we also have external reviewers. So, meaning that every project will have to be vetted, will have to be assessed, and awarding of these particular grants is on merit, not on technical know-how. And so, after the vetting process, then we shall go ahead and, based on the availability of resources, we shall be able to award the winning researchers who are given 1 year to do their research. But we also have multi-year projects because, you know, you cannot fix research in just a financial year. Sometimes it spills over. I'm aware that the financial requirements of the university, rather of government, are based on a financial year. And so we have multi-year projects where, upon satisfactory evidence of progress, we are able to fund projects which will go beyond a particular year. Thank you very much.
Very interesting. I'll be coming back to you, but now I'm eager to hear from, that is Edmond, a person who has a project. This will better throw more light to our viewers. Understand, Edmond, tell me about your project.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Robert. The professor talked about the research we do at Makerere University, and he specifically mentioned about demand. So as we choose the projects to do, we have got to be careful to know that this is going to have an impact in the society. And so our project really, we chose to do a project which will enable the country to replace fuel, charcoal and firewood as a source of energy. And we are producing briquettes. Okay, so we went ahead to do a country-wide survey to know how far briquettes are being used in different areas, and we had to survey over 15 municipalities. Okay, and we came up with a number of responses from the users, from the briquettes producers, and we had to go to back to our research, and we identified 2 areas of concern. And one of them was a machine which does briquettes, which accelerates the production of briquettes in a short time. And we made one, that you can see it is projected up there. And this machine,
see it on your viewers,
yeah.
That's the machine,
okay, the machine
on your
is there.
screen. Yes.
This machine is automated. It uses a hydraulic system to provide a compression which is highly needed for you to have a briquette which is very strong, that can cook for some time. And this machine is dual purpose because it produces briquettes of different sizes. And for this particular machine, a briquette that this machine produces can serve a person in a day. And so if I have, for example, 5 people in a home, they can use about 6 to 7 briquettes to make their food for a day. And of course, each briquette would cost about 500 shillings. And when you compare with charcoal or firewood, this briquette is really cost effective because you would spend over 4,000 shillings per day when you compare to charcoal, which you would maybe spend about 10,000. This machine is gender sensitive because it just uses a lever, a gear lever, which you just turn and then it does the work for you, as compared to other machines which are on the market, because these use hard labor which the women can't afford. And yet women are the most players in the briquette industry. This machine has a very high capacity. It can produce over 1,000 briquettes per day. And it uses a single-phase motor, which single-phase power we all have at our houses. And so you can deploy this machine in the backyard, okay, and make briquettes which you can bring to market and make money. Okay. Then that was one of the needs that we had to solve, because we found that the machines available in the market were expensive. They use hard labor, and so we are not easily accessible. But now we also had an issue of drying the briquettes, because once you produce a briquette, it is wet, it has to be dried. And so we had to come up with another mechanism of drying briquettes. Currently we use solar power, solar energy, the sun, to dry briquettes, but it takes a long time to dry. And for example, last year, you remember, we had a very prolonged season of rain. And so we wonder how producers were able to dry the briquettes. And so we came up with a technology which can dry briquettes within 24 hours. So what you do, you produce a briquette using this machine, you bring the briquette into the machine, rather the dryer. I hope it could be projected there also. And then that's the dryer. Okay, it uses biomass to provide heat into the dryer. And so you would have your briquette dry in 24 hours, as opposed to the solar drying systems which we have today, which would take even 10 days. Okay, this was a major need, by the way, for the briquette industry, because we have products on the market which are not well dried, and then, of course, users would want to shy away from them because they wouldn't give them enough energy. And so these 2 machines are very critical, and they really accelerate the value chain of the briquette, and we hope that we would be able to receive more orders from people to be able to access this machinery, because we have them at Makerere University.
Oh, they're already there?
They're already there.
Just come and purchase.
Just come and make an order. Are you
at liberty to mention the costs?
The cost for the machine, for the briquette, is 4.2 million. But for this particular dryer, This is just a prototype which we have in our workshop, but of course briquettes need a very big space for drying. So we can scale this up to have it as a room which is made of brick and mortar, and then we arrange the drying system within a room according to the needs of the supply of the producer. Yes.
Yes, I find that quite worth funding, because we know we cannot continue to sustain people cooking on firewood.
Correct.
Because it means that is a tree cut.
Yes.
Firewood comes from trees. We know what that causes, deforestation. We know what that has caused to the people of Bududa, floods. So that was a worth funding project. I would fund that as well. And of course, we now have to change the mindset of Ugandans.
Sure.
That you have to move away from firewood. Firewood is evil. Charcoal is evil.
Good.
Let's go to briquettes, because briquettes are made from waste products.
Exactly.
Things that you don't need, the peelings and isn't it?
Yeah, this waste we find dumped all over. Of course, KCCA produces so much waste and takes it to Gitezi and inside, and then it rots there. But also when it rots, it produces gas, which gas now goes into the atmosphere and destroys the environment. And then, of course, we have heard about global warming. But if we took advantage of that waste and convert it into briquettes, we'd actually use that waste to produce a briquette to replace the cutting of trees, and we save our environment, which is very critical as far as development is concerned.
So this machine is basically for someone who is going in business.
Yes.
So when are you coming up with something that I can buy for my home consumption? Now, recently, NEMA was very clear on the laws and implementation of penalties. Rubbish at home can cause you also 6 years imprisonment. So that means we need machines where I can say this rubbish that are a bit friendly for home consumption, yeah? So that can make me a few briquettes, a casola, something light for my...
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, this machine, it's a matter of scaling it up or down. Okay, you can actually scale it down to make a briquette for home use. But also 4 million shillings, when you compare in the long run, you'll have spent on charcoal in a few years. So if you could spend this money
because
at once...
right now I think a sack of charcoal can go for 100,000.
Yes, and you need...
Even 60.
And you need, yeah, depending on how you
That
get
is
it
just a half.
That's
Just a half sack, but a full sack.
And a full sack,
120.
yes, and you need about 1.5 sacks in if you have a family of 4 to 5.
Family in a month.
So if you factor
2 months,
in,
the sack is done.
Yeah. So in 2 years you'll have spent money which buys this machine. But also when you buy this machine, you contribute to the effort to fight for your environment.
Yes.
Okay, and so it is really a need for every Ugandan per se. Yeah.
Well, our viewers, we are still looking at the Makerere University Research and Innovation Fund, where government of Uganda has injected quite a lot of money, billions of money, to ensure that people come up with innovations that are really basically to develop this country are funded. However, the category is very clear, and my guest, that is Professor Robert, explained who qualifies here. Now, Professor, this is one of the testimonies. I come from the born-again faith, and this is a testimony of the goodness of the fund. But let's look at the successes of this fund.
Thank you very much. Of course, I did say amen to that testimony. But allow me to address one particular issue when you asked about the question of how much. Now, you realize that this is just one of the so many innovations coming out. Now, when you talk about the amount of money required to buy one particular product, that may be high. However, the Research and Innovation Fund thought it wise that how do we scale up? How do we scale up? How do we commercialize? How do we take these innovations to another level? You realize that our researchers, all, if I may say, our innovators, may not have the money to actually push this to another level. And so this time round, in this year's call, we've come up with another stream of funding, and that is the commercialization funding. Now, this commercialization funding enables researchers to develop their innovations, to partner with the private sector, and be able to improve and market the innovation. So the innovation, like my colleague is talking about, we'll be able to actually fund and improve it and scale it up to a format that in a way can be able to be accessed by any lay person. Now, coming to your particular questions about achievements, of course, I must begin off with the finances, because of course, without the money, you cannot really do much. Up to date, I can speak, we've received up to 100 billion Uganda shillings from the government of the Republic of Uganda. And I don't get shy to always mention and say we are very grateful to His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for seeing it important to invest in research. For the 4 financial years, we have received this funding. I did say earlier also that even in the heat of COVID, where things were really quite tough, we still received money from the Republic of Uganda to fund research. Now, what more commitment would you actually want? That shows the level of commitment the government of Uganda has in funding research. Number 3, we've so far funded up to 865 projects over the 4 financial years. Now, if you look at the applicants, the number of applicants actually could be, each particular call, we get up to about 700. But those that we can find actually becomes really quite small. So for the 4 financial years, we've been able to fund up to 865 projects. Right now, we are looking at how do we commercialize these innovations? How do we take these innovations to another level? Right now, also, maybe something else which I may also want to talk about is, to date, we've been receiving funding for PhD, but of course, some of this funding has priority areas which it funds, which may not really be of particular interest to the country or to us as a university. And so, right now, we've also been able to come up with another stream of funding, which is funding PhD, where we're able to, in a way, consolidate and add on what the university is putting in to fund PhD research at Makerere University. The achievements, as I did say earlier, the number of projects, the resources, the innovators, and of course, that does not just raise the profile of Makerere University, but it raises the profile also of the country and its commitment to fund research and innovation in Uganda.
Well, Prof, most of the times, one of the things that I've come to understand is, like I told you, I'm very passionate about agriculture. I've gone to a number of these institutions. I never leave Makerere University farm, Kabanyoro. I'm a regular visitor there. And a number of high learning institutions. But one thing that annoys me, and good I have you team here, is the fact that the farmer in the village is suffering with some kind of pest that is attacking his crops. Makerere University, you have a professor, you're my namesake, I can use it, who is on plane going to Zambia to deliver a paper or research on killing that pest. You get what I'm saying? You're in tomatoes, there is some kind of disease that is attacking, and your investment as a farmer in Mitiana there, or there are some kind of grasshoppers, but in Makerere University, that research was done 10 years ago and dealt with. But you find maybe even someone is delivering a paper, you guys never leave the plane.
Yeah.
You make an innovation, you come out with a research, you make a breakthrough. You find our brains loitering. Europe, America, paper conferences, workshop. One time I was at one conference and I was shocked to say Ugandan professor coming up with research of a problem I was having.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm like, look at this land fellow.
Yeah.
You've left your motherland, where you're having this problem. You're coming miles away, received with honor and pride.
To tell them about what you've done.
To tell them, yet the very people, they're suffering. So how are you going to get this research to the people? You know, people are cutting trees. Edmund. People are cutting trees. Here we have a machine. But they may never know about it.
Yeah.
So how do we transform this? There's so much good research and breakthroughs. Actually, our viewers, there's so much that is happening in Makerere University that if you got to know, if you wouldn't get upset, you'd be very happy.
Definitely.
So how do we do that?
I must agree with you on the fact that there is a lot happening. And I must also agree that for a while, universities, not just Makerere University, by the way, we've so much been focused on the journal articles, of course, which we go to present, the papers, which is really quite impressive. Going to present a paper, publishing a paper in a reputable journal, of course, that will earn you a promotion, which is really quite good. But you're also spot on in saying that our innovations should solve the problems going on in our communities. And one of the initiatives we've taken as Makerere University Research and Innovation Fund, number one, I did say earlier that this time around, we've come up with an avenue to scale up these innovations in a way that can benefit the communities. Number one is commercialization of these innovations. Now, what do I mean by commercialization? Commercialization is taking these innovations outside the university into the public actually that needs them. Now, for your information, the Vice Chancellor of Makerere University, that's Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, thought it wise that for me to be able to commercialize these ideas, I need to come up with an innovation hub, which was established last year, which is headed by Dr. Catherine Mbide. Now, the innovation hub is a room to be able to nurture these innovations into a state that can be commercializable. Now, we hope that by doing so, we'll be able to kind of like make our innovations more accessible and more affordable to the public. But number two also, the university is no longer the hill where we just used to stay there and talk to ourselves. The fact that we're here and you've invited us, my namesake Robert, is evidence enough that we want to disseminate what we are doing. We want to let the public know, but not just know, we want to partner with the public and private sector to be able to develop these concepts. We cannot do this alone, I can assure you, we cannot. We need the private sector, we need the public sector, we need the media to be able to actually pass our message. But we're doing all our efforts in a way, but we would also appreciate efforts of partners to be able to sell our ideas beyond the walls and the gates of Makerere University. Thank you very much.
I'll be very excited if I see a Uganda there, where your innovations, where your research is transforming, is answering to the problems of the ordinary person. Because I'm happy you have the brains. Now I'm very happy you have the fund. You know, if you have the brains, you have the fund, then that means problem solved, problem answered.
And government commitment.
And
very important.
Yes, government commitment as well.
Yeah.
And add on Professor's submission, yes, you see, the fund does not just fund in the research, as he said. It funds research which is scalable. It has potential to be scaled to solve a problem which is prevailing. Looking at our research, for example, by the way, this research is being housed at the School of Women and Gender Studies, and under the leadership of Professor Florence Muhanguzi, who is actually the PI. But you can imagine such a research from School of Social Sciences, and then it is now bringing a machine into life. But the composition of the team was so intentional that it has social sciences, and then also it has got engineering, which can be able to transform the social sciences, research into products which can actually help the community. And so we have got to be intentional as we develop this research, first to be able to attract or to interest this fund to be able to give us the money. Okay, so we could have stopped actually at putting together the information from the field and we publish, but we had to go an extra mile to implement the research, to make a product which we think can be able to solve a problem which is at hand. And so this project, for example, is the Martia project. And from here, we are supposed to go to the field, back to the field, and we take this technology to the people. And we show them this is how we do things. We can actually improve the way this is done, and we expect to have much impact into the community, and so we are contributing in that direction. Okay, yeah, thank you.
Viewers, we are still looking at the Makerere University Research and Innovation Fund established by the government of Uganda, and so far a funding to a tune of 100 billion has been injected into this fund to ensure that we have solutions to the challenges we face as a country, but also the brains. We promote innovation. One of the things that usually frustrates people is when someone thinks or believes there is something they can do, but they lack funding. I have a friend of mine called Kaira. This guy, but he doesn't qualify for this fund. You know, he's an innovator, and sometimes it disturbs me. He says and speaks in Luganda. Like, he's made his, and sometimes I see him getting monies from everywhere and putting in his research. He has a dream. I may not see that dream. Sometimes I feel like telling him, but why don't you give up? Because you're fetching monies and injecting. Now this brings me to proof. You know, this is government money. I talked about accountability. But I stand to be corrected. Does every research yield fruit? And how are we guarding against spending government money and we don't have results at the end of the day? I've seen people try to do certain things and I never see them make breakthroughs and they finally give up. So I'm happy they came up with a solution, you know, but I stand to be correct, I'm not a scientist. But does it mean that every research may yield fruit? Because there's some bit of research I've tried an innovation and I'm like, either I need someone with more knowledge to assist me along the way. Like when I told you that dog artificial insemination, I had to come to you, the experts, until and it was expensive anyway, getting the knowledge, but later I discovered it was something even very simple. So what happens when a Chirabo Robert comes and believes his proposal is very well, then he says, I need 80 billion, and year in, year out, 3 years,
there's nothing.
There's
nothing
nothing
coming out. Very good question, and of course pertinent. By the way, the friend of yours that you talked about, Abulamu Sente, they can actually partner with someone within Makerere University. As long as something has a problem it's solving in the community, they can partner. Now, we may not be able to give him money as him per se because accountability becomes an issue.
Yes.
But we can actually reach out as a university, all as researchers and individuals, and if something is of potential, then we can actually scale it up. Now, coming to your question, when we do fund research initiatives at Makerere University, every researcher writes a contract with Makerere University. One of the issues that are put in these contracts is accountability. I did say we fund staff of the university, but they can partner with other individuals to do research. Now, why staff of the university? Issue of accountability, that in case you fail to pay or to account for the resources, we find other ways of recovering government money, because now this is taxpayers' money. You cannot afford to just in the middle say, well, I'm not able to continue with the research, and so I leave everything. No. So they are, why the focus is on our staff as PIs is the issue that in case you fail to account, there are several avenues where we can actually be able to recover that particular money. Now, one thing saying also, not every research will yield a tangible product like my colleagues. Some could yield ideas that could change policy. Some would yield tangible products which can be pushed to the supermarket. And some are processes, like his particular study, that this year will give us a beginning point. Next year we shall scale it up to another point, and the other year, so that by the end of the 3 or 4 years, of course with the goodwill of government, we'll be able to bring in a bigger product. So not all research will give you tangible product. Some will give you ideas, some will give you methodologies of doing things, some will give you the tangible products which can be sold to the market. But in a nutshell, Every research has to have a closeout report. It is a mandate. We do monitoring and evaluation of all research projects, and at every end of financial year, we actually flag out those not doing well projects, and we send out our staff to talk to them. What is happening? You've not accounted. What is happening? And so it is not just a matter of giving resources. We also follow up aggressively. By the way, last year we sent out scouts as part of our M&E team, scouts to reach out to every researcher, those who have not accounted. We have to send out scouts and ask them, talk to the researchers, ask them what is happening. And in case someone becomes even more adamant, we actually reach out personally and tell the person, by the way, this is taxpayers' money, and we have to close out and account for the resources. So the issue of non-delivering is out of the picture.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I thought the wise would plan easy that well. There is some money here. You know, we use money. Some research money somewhere.
Definitely not.
Be smart enough to kajeyo twekole mu mulimu.
Definitely not.
It's not. It is not easy.
No, actually, if I may use the actual words, researchers have actually, if I may quote them, they say, Mark Riffman is not easy to eat. That's what they say. And he also knows it. It's not easy to eat because of the several layers of accountability and follow-up. Now, we will not give you a next dispatchment unless you've accounted for what we gave you.
Sure.
So what we give you, you must first account for us to give you the next dispatchment. We will demand for a close-out report. By the way, for the last 3 or 4 financial years, we've been audited. And you've never had anything coming out that researchers are eating government money. No. Otherwise, the Auditor General would have come out and said, Makeda is eating government money or taxpayers' money. But we've been audited, and our audit reports have been very favorable. Now, not that there are no issues. We keep improving. You know, research is about improving the way you do business. So we are at the issue of monitoring and evaluation and engaging the researchers as much as possible.
Okay. Now, Edmund, you've had a successful project, we must say. Of course, you've seen the machine, and it does wonders if it can go to the ordinary person and they're able to get it, or help communities start earning as we save our environment as well. But when we look at this fund, what is your advice to would-be beneficiaries of this fund that maybe may not have embraced it to the latter?
Thank you very much. Definitely, as Professor has explained, the fund is there, and they're waiting for proposals. Definitely, there's always going to be a call for researchers to submit proposals. Of course, if you don't submit a proposal, then there is no money for you because you won't be seen anywhere. So you've got to come out and write, because this is about writing and winning a grant. So we call upon researchers who are out there. And of course, you could have an idea, by the way, in the field like you have, but you could actually share with an academician who is in Makerere, and we work together to develop the proposal. And so because the fund requires that I become the PI, because I'm a staff from Makerere. So we can collaborate with many other people outside there to be able to bring the ideas into a reality by approaching the academicians who are present and available for us to work together and develop these ideas.
Okay, Professor, where do you see this fund in the next 5 years?
Number one, the fact that this research fund was in the first place put up to deal with the high impact factor, rather high impact innovations, I am seeing, number one, this fund raising the profiles of our country, first of all, in the area of innovations. We've so much, as Africa, been on the receiving side of ideas. I'm not saying that ideas coming from the West or even other countries are bad, but we should not be just consumers. We should be part of the persons generating knowledge. If you've noticed, by the way, in the heat of COVID, Makerere was so much, in the public, in the news about research. Now, this research was able to allow me to use the word, awaken the giants. Not that they were sleeping, but they had these ideas, and the funding agencies could only fund just a little of all these particular ideas. The university and the researchers have actually been able to develop capacity to also get funding from other agencies. So I am seeing that because of the input that the government has done, we're able to actually win more grants elsewhere. So I'm seeing us, not just depend on the government, but also be able to win other grants elsewhere. I did tell you that we've been able to now add in a new concept or a new funding stream, that is commercialization. I am seeing us being able to nurture our ideas, local ideas, and develop them for the market. Allow me to talk about just briefly his particular idea, which he says, well, 4 million could be quite a lot. But I'm thinking about an idea where he's able to scale it up, rather to scale it down, and a local person can be able to also access. So I am seeing us being able to have home-built, homegrown ideas, the Build Uganda ideas that are able to deal with our local issues. Number 4, and lastly, this year round also we've gone into funding, being able to support PhD. I did say earlier that the funding we have right now, in a way, has tied themes which may not really deal with our real issues. Now, we're able to contribute to the pool of PhDs in the country, not just PhDs who will just stay in the walls of the universities, but those who are able to actually go out and contribute. I don't know if you're aware that the biggest number of PhDs in Uganda actually is at Makerere University. Yeah. If we're able to produce more of these, we're not just helping Makerere, but we're actually helping other universities, public or even private. So in a way, we are being able to build our country with the support of government of Uganda, of course, and other partners who have come in to support this call for research.
Well, I want to thank you so much, gentlemen. That is Edmond Musime, who is a lecturer, Department of Makerere Mechanical Engineering. Thank you so much for your time, and of course I wish you more innovations, more so making it affordable, available to the ordinary person. Right. And of course Professor Wamala Robert, who happens to be that is the Deputy Director, Directorate of Research and Graduate Training, that is at Makerere University. Thank you. When you talk about the Auditor General Auditing and Safari Report, I want to thank you for that. And of course ensuring that all is possible for many Ugandans. So I urge all qualifying candidates, please, lecturers, let's embrace this. One person once said the graveyard is the richest place.
Wow.
Because many people die with their dreams. So much they didn't use.
Yes.
So let's change that narrative. Sure. See you in the next hour. God bless you. Yes.
Live from Now Avenue in UBC Studios. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Every waking day is a reminder just how beautiful this, our land, truly is. The kind of beauty that you can only find here. In the lush green all around us and the wondrous sights within. It's what you feel in the gentle caress of tropical wind from the mountaintops. And the glow in your heart from a warm neighborly invite. It's in the distinct aroma of our cooking to the taste of food that takes you on a journey. In the sound of homecoming and the sound of Mother Earth.